This is Life in the Word. We welcome you to a very special program and we always enjoy your company. We are always discussing hot issues, controversial issues, unusual issues. My name is Pastor Donald and here with me is Pastor Sheki. Welcome.
Thank you so much, man of God.
And Pastor Emmanuel. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Pastor Don.
It's always a delight to have you, man of God, because I don't know what this season has gotten into you. Is it you that have gotten into the season, or the season has gotten a better of you? In our last episode, we spoke about a very unusual topic. The name of our program is Life in the Word, but you guys then decided to bring death. So I don't know whether you want to say death in the Word of God that is found in... But anyway, we really appreciate the viewers that are coming and joining us with their messages. We see your messages are coming in their hundreds, and we really appreciate. You know, gentlemen, what's really shocking me is we've discussed so many things, sexual immorality, politics, but the number of questions we are getting. And you know what? One thing that is touching me is that even the people that have been bereaved are also opening up on certain fears. And I hope as we begin to discuss this, we will also begin to unveil and unearth certain things that really, because our program is very practical. We bring the realities of the Word of God. And I feel that's really our calling as well as panelists on Life in the Word.
Yeah, sure.
So just as an encouragement, we really value. The viewers are valuing your support, your revelation, your wisdom. And we say, keep it up. You know, we got a message from one person that says, live long, Pastor Sheikh and Pastor Emmanuel. So we really appreciate that. So
Thank you.
maybe just as a recap on how we can reintroduce this particular topic on death. Pastor Sheikh, would you want to open up the show for us?
Thank you so much, Pastor Donald, and thank you so much, Pastor Emmanuel. It's really an honor and a privilege for me to be part of the panel. I just want to give a recap of what we discussed in our last episode for the benefit of those that probably were not privy enough to watch our last episode. We are dealing with a topic that is happening daily, wherever you are in the world, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in India. It's happening on a daily basis, which is death. And the reason why we are talking about is not to frighten people away or to increase the fear of people pertaining death, but it's about how we should live knowing that power has been given to us over that which we are fearfully always against. So last episode we were talking, I remember as you were talking, Pastor Emmanuel touched on a topic where on an aspect that he said, the reason why most people they have got fear is because not enough knowledge has been made available about what really death is, what transpires, and also what happens when one dies. And then I also remember, Pastor Donald, you also say you gave a definition in support of the definition that Pastor Emmanuel gave. He said, death is when life that has been given, whether to a person or to a gadget or a thing, once there is separation between that person or that gadget and the life, that's when death has taken place. So that's what we are dealing with. And our thrust on this program is for us to really dig deep into the Word of God, also dig deep into the cultures that we are living around, dig deep into the society's beliefs and doctrines that have been made, and really to get to understand what really death is. Are we supposed to be afraid of it? Or we are supposed to know that we have got power over it, especially coming from the perspective of the Bible.
You know, what I really liked about what you are saying is that
was
on
powerful.
a daily basis, we have to deal with it.
Sure.
And one way or the other, whether we choose to ignore, that's a way of dealing with it.
Sure.
So really, that's really something. Yeah, very, very precise to the point. Pastor Emmanuel, how would you just give it as a recap?
Oh, well, I can't give it better than what Pastor Sheki has given already. He has summarized it all. But probably I can pick from there.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
He introduced a very profound point that if we dwell on a little bit, we might come up with something pertaining this subject called death.
Okay.
You know, Pastor Sheki said it's happening everywhere. You go to Europe,
It's there.
death happens. West Africa, death happens. Any continent, death is happening, which means death is happening globally.
That's true.
And what came into me as Pastor Sheki was talking is that this animal called death is in every place, number one. Number two, it is now happening so often.
That's true.
You know, in a very small area, every day, very small town, every day you live, people are dying, things are dying, and people are burying each other. You see those processions happening time and again.
That's true.
You know, somebody said the graveyard has become the commonest place to visit, especially in this time. But here's my problem. As common as death has become, still, it has not quenched the fear that it has on people.
Yeah, sure.
Because I thought the way, you know, way back as we were growing up, it was really scary. You know, I remember when a death happens on a home during those days when we were kids, we were taken away from the home, put in another place, a different home,
Sure.
as if our parents or guidance wanted to protect us from seeing whatever activities that were happening or the trauma or anything that was happening there. But it grew gradually into becoming so common. And now you can't hide death from even
Anymore,
a kid.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
They see it in cartoons,
Yeah, yeah.
they see it in every place on TV,
Movies.
in movies, people shooting each other and they're dying and the like. Before this technology, these were things that were really hidden away from us.
Yeah, sure.
But now death has become so common, such that it being common alone was supposed to lighten up or make it lose weight.
Yeah,
But
when
it
comes
is,
to fear.
yes, but it is such a thing that even as common as it has become, it hasn't lost much of its weight.
True.
Which means there are quite a number of mystic, sensitive things about death
That need to be
that
unpacked. Yeah.
need to be unpacked.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
I was just thinking as you were talking, Pastor, that you go to West Africa, you hear how much time they spend before burying a person. I don't really know. I've never studied that culture much, but I've heard about it.
Okay.
A person can go for 2 weeks before they bury the person. I wouldn't know whether it's in honor of the dead or it's in anticipation that the person will arise. Where the culture was bred from, I don't know.
Okay.
But there is such a culture in West Africa, I think around Ghana thereabout, where you die today, they don't bury you after 2 days. No, especially if you are an honored person in the community. No. They will take so much time. So let's assume it's an honor to the dead. Let's assume, please hear me, viewers out there, it's an assumption.
Yeah.
I'm not attacking a culture, no. I don't even know much about that culture. But the point I'm trying to drive is, even here in our own culture, a person dies today, they don't bury the person today.
Sure.
Some have got a very stringent culture where they say you can't bury this person before 3 days. It has, normally it's 3 days and above, and they bury. Some time ago, I used to think probably it's a process of moving the body from that place to
point
another
A,
place
yeah.
and what. But still, it has proved that it's beyond that. Some would even say this body has to go and sleep in the house where it used to sleep. It has to pass through that place and all. It's in different cultures. Death has different respect as we cut through cultures.
Sure.
You understand? So I don't know. It just
Something-
came to my
Yeah,
mind. Yeah.
You know, one thing, gentlemen, is you're unpacking this issue, Pastor Sheki and Pastor Emmanuel, is that, you know, you're saying the fear that is within people continues to rise, no matter how many people have died. But each time somebody hears the news that somebody else, there is no knowledge or an acceptance to say this was bound to happen. I don't know about Christians and the death of Christ. Why is the death of Christ celebrated? It's just something that came to me to say, we talk about the death of Christ as if it is a light issue. It's not even emotional.
As if it's not death.
As if it's not death.
You're a very controversial, Pastor.
So
that's actually being very, very controversial.
yeah, so
I've
His death
never
is
seen it from
celebrated.
that angle.
Yeah.
and the death of Christ even has a holiday on our calendars. You know, when we celebrate,
Exactly,
Not to mourn,
not to mourn, but we actually buy.
to celebrate.
It has actually been commercialized. I think we even buy Easter eggs during Easter time, and this is death. We are not even wearing. You know, these are some of the issues that
No black attire.
no
for a
black
sorry.
attire. So I'm concurring with you amazingly today, and agreeing with you to say, you know, is there some lack of education that we need that needs to be awarded to people to you know, I have this friend of mine who once said, I know we'll discuss this later, but with this friend of mine, each time I visit either funerals with him or hospitals, you know, they will say, is it not better for this person to die or waste money? So
Do you want me to
no,
mention
let's
his
not
name?
mention names here.
No, I'm just asking.
So I'm saying,
That's one area we also have to touch, like you said.
yeah, we'll touch it later. But you know why?
Assisted death.
You know what? Not really assisted death, but I'm saying, like, to say where people are crying for emotional support. You know, people get emotional where they see their relatives on the deathbed and things like
He's
that.
in the coma for 3-4 months.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that, you know, the way this particular person relates to these areas, it's on a lighter note. And amazingly, most of the time, the way he then treats the people, it leaves them lighter rather than in the somber and sorrowful attitude that they have. So I'm just taking a point from what he's saying, that as much as people are dying, is it something that we should live with and know this thing can happen at any particular time and live with it? When you see that this thing is about to die, I mean, if your phone battery shows that it's about to switch off and it does switch off, do you cry or you just accept? You may be disappointed that you got cut off, but there's an acceptance to say, okay, this is bound to happen.
Do you know, Pastor, maybe to answer on that particular note,
Yeah.
what brings
Which note do you want to answer?
the aspect of why it's not as easy to accept when my phone goes off, and also to add on the aspect of us celebrating the death of Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start
But
with
but also maybe touching on the fear that still surrounds people,
Sure.
even in the midst of death, you know, being
Yeah.
somewhat common.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's why I say maybe I'll cover that one in respect to answer also the celebration that happens on another death of a being who also died, was Jesus Christ.
Okay.
What brings the pain, I think, from the last question that you presented? I'll start with that one. When my phone goes off, this one, if it goes off, I see that my battery is now about to die. And it's 2%. It wants to go off. What makes me not to cry is because I know the time I'm going to get the charger, plug it in. Within few minutes, it's now powered back again.
Okay.
I can now access my messages, I can now access my applications, I can now access everything that is within my phone. So which means I know it's temporal. What has happened, it's temporal. And I have knowledge that this is temporal. Once I get my charger and plug it in, I'm going to access the feelings I have when I'm texting my friend Pastor Donald, the feelings I have and the emotions that I create when I'm conversating with Pastor Emmanuel over the phone, I can still access them once I plug it in and it's on. But when my loved one dies, worse enough if I don't know what has happened to this person, where is this person going? Am I ever going to meet this person again? Am I going to relate to this person again? this person is being taken from home and they are going to the cemetery, they are going to bury this person. I cannot come back, and there is the aspect of decomposing of the body.
Okay.
There are emotions attached to the person who has passed on.
So there is an emotional attachment.
There's an emotional attachment.
Okay.
There are memories.
Memories.
There are events that we have lived together with this person.
So you've got 3 major points.
3 major points.
Okay, just hold those 3 major points. We need to take a short break. Viewers, please join us after this short break. This is Life in the Word.
And he was looking after his father-in-law's sheep in the desert, feeding them in the desert, looking after them, but in the desert. They didn't die of hunger. There was enough grass and enough water, but in the desert. Not because the desert was no longer a desert, but because of the kind of the shepherd. He would feed the sheep in the desert. Before you manifest in the palace and change the affairs of the nation, go to the assembly, to the elders, to the mature. Don't go to the palace first. Go to church. And then there is something that I want you people to see. It is there in the Bible, but I know most people you can't see it. Here it is. I'll bring you up and out. For the first time, you will look at yourself and realize that I'm out of affliction. You will be standing there and poverty will be standing away from you. There is a separation that is taking place. I'm saying this because the God of your fathers has appeared unto me.
Welcome back to Life in the Word. My name is Pastor Donald, and I'm with Pastor Emmanuel and Pastor Sheki. We had just taken a break and we were discussing about major issues that Pastor Sheki was highlighting. Pastor Sheki.
Thank you so much, pastors. I was saying, when my loved one dies, different from the form, I have memories with this person. There are shared emotions with this person. There are events that we have lived with together with this person. And also there were satisfactions that were coming from this person, either guidance-wise, either emotionally wise. When I go through a challenge, I would call the person would console me. So when the time the person is deceased, the time the person dies, automatically I now know.
You were trying to avoid dying.
Exactly. Automatically I now know I can no longer access the emotions of this person. I can no longer go anywhere with this person. I can now relive or probably go through the events we have lived before this event of death happened. When I need to make a call, I can no longer call this person. Even if they still have the phone, if I call it, the person can no longer pick. If this person was the provider of the family, they can no longer go to work and provide for us. So there is a gap emotionally that has been left. There is a supply and provisional gap that has been left, if it's a parent or it's a guardian. So I now, that voidness is the one that brings grief.
Okay.
I've lost a part that would make me complete.
But what if those things are replaced, Pastor Sheki? Does the pain still, because if it's a guardian and you're talking about supply, any other non-governmental organization can supply the same thing. You can be taken to school, you can be taken to sentimental value. People are now engaging into social groups to replace that. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm not really questioning, I'm not interrupting. Because I'm actually, from what you said before, what he then joined on to, went on to say. So I'm saying that, is that all that we can talk about? Is that what is really causing us to fear this thing. Death has become such a very big thing. Because there's an old adage that says, as certain as death. So if death is so certain, why are we so fearful about it and we're not so fearful of other things that are probabilities?
Okay, maybe to just come in there, and Pastor Emmanuel is also open to come in.
Okay. I like the way you've thrown in a very hot one on him.
Yeah, sure.
But you should. But he's already run away from my intentions. It's okay. Let's go ahead. I'll come in.
Okay.
All right,
Talk about it.
come in.
You see, why I can, yes, government can take me to school. They can provide for me and everything. But I'm saying the government is not a person. I cannot travel.
But they're well wisher. I mean, I've known you for years. You are taking care of so many people.
Sure.
They are not necessarily your biological children. And those people are benefiting from you. They've lost loved ones.
That's true.
And you are providing for them.
That's
you
true.
are a person.
That's true.
So I'm trying to just come in there to say, how then?
But no, look, you can't sit down and do life in the word with the government.
Very true.
That's what he's trying to say.
Yes,
Exactly.
I've removed the government
Yes,
aspect.
brought
Then I
in a
said, okay,
personality.
let me bring in a personality. You both, I've known you for the years I've known you. You are taking care of orphans. You're taking care of other people. So I'm saying, if that is the case, whereby he spoke about provision, how many people are you guys providing for?
Okay, let me answer you on that one from the illustration that he has given. We are 3 in this program. Let's say I choose to drop from the program myself. We have shared memories.
Which dropping is that?
Death.
No,
He wants to reach.
Right, I'm coming to that point. I'm coming to that point.
Let's not be ambiguous.
I'm coming to that point.
Which dropping is that?
There is okay, I'm coming to that point. There is what is called Life in the Word as the program, which means Life in the Word has become a program that has got its own lifespan within it. And we have managed to create a lifespan between...
We're coming back to lifespan. Remember, you guys,
Yes, we
you
are coming-
squashed me on
Exactly.
that. Okay, that's fine.
Which means there is a lifespan within Life in the Word that comprises of Pastor Emmanuel, Pastor Donald, and Pastor Sheki. So the day I choose to drop in, which means this has become a world of us, the 3 of us. The day I choose to drop from this program, I have died in the program,
Okay.
right?
Then
Even
the,
if you...
the day we choose to drop you, it means we've killed you.
Exactly.
Okay.
From the program. Which means
I don't
you
think
can, you can have a replacement.
Okay.
And once you have a replacement, that replacement you can continue discussing and sharing the word of God. But you can never ever get the part that I used to bring. That person is not me. Even if you can get a replacement of me, that person will never bring my emotion to the program. He will bring in his own emotion.
Which means the Sheki is irreplaceable.
He is replaceable,
Okay.
but his emotions are not replaceable.
Okay.
But now listen to this. You're talking about the lifespan of what? Of Sheki or of the program?
The lifespan of Sheki in the program.
Okay. So what
So
do
you
call
can
that?
replace the character. You can replace the personality. But that personality that is coming with its own emotions that are attached to that individual.
So you
the day I'm dying within the program or the day you are killing me from the program, I'm going away with my emotions.
You know what? What's interesting, me, Pastor? You're putting yourself in your own trap.
Okay.
Because my question was, why is there so much fear that surrounds death? So you're saying, yes, it is because sometimes people cannot be replaceable. But you're also talking about the lifespan of a particular program. Life in the Word will not die because any one of us has been removed
Okay,
from
Pastor,
the program.
let's be practical. Let's not try to put it on like what can I say? Like me dying, but you are knowing that I'm existing somewhere there. After this program, my fall, collapse, and die. You can find another
Now
person
you've
again.
gathered guts now. Because look, this has been the illustration you really wanted to give, right?
I was
But,
pushing him there.
Get this. But, we still can pick that hesitation to say,
To
if
talk
I
about
give an illustration of myself
Dying.
in this dying, it might represent or connote that,
That
one
you're
way
about
or
to
the
die,
other,
yeah.
I'm going to drop first or something like that. Hence the word dropping. Are you getting the point?
Yes,
So,
yes.
You see where it's coming from?
Yes,
It's coming with the, what can I say? We once touched on that on the last episode.
Okay.
It's coming with, there is this sense that comes with, okay, let's say this happens after I say this, then boom, I'm gone, dead. Do you know all of you will take a review of the program? And it's going to be very easy for you to say, because he said it, that's why it happened. But still you can replace me from the program. But all of you guys, that will be a lie. That you can easily go over that. In as much as you now have another character in the program, but there is that part you now know that this guy is no longer available. There is this pain that comes with that. Because if there was never going to be pain, you were never supposed to even come and attend my funeral.
Who told you we were going to come?
No, I know.
I'm just joking.
So you see now,
Yeah,
what brings the pain is to know that we can no longer see this guy. All the laughters, all the memories that we have created. You now know if we ever going to create this one, you can still create something with Emmanuel. But you know the part that Sheikh would create is no longer going to be able. You know, all of us have got our own crazy sides. There is a way I can be crazy on this program that he can never be able to do that. You get the point? So that part you always feel it, that if he was here, he would have done this. So henceforth, I'm trying to justify the aspect of why people have so much pain. Why is it not easy to say, I've had my brother died, my sister died, so I'm now prepared for this. Even if you have people dying every week, you will never get used to that because every person has got his own feelings, emotions.
Connections.
Exactly.
Okay, maybe, I don't know, did I?
Sure.
Okay.
No.
I don't know whether.
Are you dropping some controversy there?
Not really.
Because you're
but
putting on your controversial face here. All right, come through. Shoot.
Yeah, I don't know whether my footing is going to be that strong. But I want to argue a little bit.
Okay.
I knew something was coming. Yeah?
That is not enough to bring fear of death.
Yeah, sure.
Because you are talking of a second person. And you are talking of us, the bereaved, the ones that will mourn, that will cry, that will be in pain. Let's build our foundation on a person fearing to die
As an individual,
than on a person fearing to lose a
a
loved
loved
one.
one.
Because if you try to justify the fear of death using that
The
to
one
say
who's alive.
this is my friend, we have had them in school, we used to share jokes and the like. Look, we can come back to the other definition that we insinuated in the previous episode. If this same person is transferred, right now, if our executive chooses to transfer you to Australia and you'll be pastoring there, when you go there, obviously you begin to build another circle of friends.
Exactly. New lifestyle, new everything.
New lifestyle.
New life in the word
everything.
there.
Maybe new life in the word there. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, the first
I'll
days-
invite you in Australia.
The first days you go there, we can conduct each other.
Calling
and
each
talk,
other.
But normally, the norm, if the relationship was not that bonded here, if it
There's
was
detachment.
just an event on life in the world, it simply means that you can easily detach
That's true.
from us simply
That's
because you've gone to
That's true.
another country.
But all of us still alive.
We are all still alive, but you are away.
Sure.
So you being away, through the illustration you gave called death, and you being away through a transfer, it still brings the same results. You are not in the vicinity. You might choose to make Australia your home and never come back again to Zim.
Sure.
Which means if ever I'm going to see Sheki,
It's no pictures.
when God raises him and probably on social media, on the pictures or something like that. What about, because right now we can agree that there are friends that you went to school with,
Sure.
whom you have never met again, even on social media.
That's true.
Which means we can literally say you lost those friends.
Yeah.
That's true.
You understand?
That's
Which
true.
means the same effects of him being dead, even actually we can say some of them died and you never got to know
To
that
know
they died.
they are no longer part of my world.
They're no longer part of you. You understand? Which means we are getting the same effects
Okay.
that we can get in death, we can get
death,
them in
by
transfer, we can get
distance,
them in
yeah.
a physical separation. Why?
I'm waiting. I'm
Wait,
listening.
I'm
listening.
seeing you vibrating.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
It's the fear of death.
No, he wants to squeeze in. He wants to bring in a point.
He wants to bring.
Death,
Or
wait,
maybe
wait,
before
where is your
Pastor,
sting?
maybe before Pastor Emmanuel
But
continues.
aren't
No,
you afraid
he's
that
flowing.
I'll
He's
I'll
flowing.
lose my point?
Yeah,
no,
it's flowing.
I just need to take a short break. I know you remember this one.
Death, where is your sting?
Yeah, all right. Definitely. The time is up. We need to take a short break. Viewers, please join us for this short break. This is Life in the Word. Welcome back to Life in the Word. For views and comments, please use our number on the screen. We really value your feedback always. We're talking about death on this particular episode and this season. So we really value the thousands that are coming in. We really appreciate that on our social media. We really bring in your comments. Pastor Emmanuel, I just stopped you just before we took a break. You were coming in hot and Pastor Shegedi was about to leave us.
You saw me vibrating.
Yes, he was now on ease.
No, you used your strategy to make the break so that I forget whatever I wanted
Oh,
to say.
goodness. No, he lost his thought died.
His thought died.
But look, I think the point that I was trying to drive is that the physical death and the physical transfer, let's not debate on the issue of physical or whatever, but we are saying the death and the transfer that has happened on the same individual brings almost the same effect. How? Let me explain that. I won't be able to share the same emotions that I used to share with them. I won't be able to sit down on the set like we're doing right now with the same person. You get my point? So I was saying it's not enough to justify the fear of death using another person's death.
Not the person who's supposed to die.
Yes.
Exactly.
When we
It's
talk
not
of the
enough.
fear of death, let's found it on me fearing to die myself.
Exactly.
You understand? Then losing a loved one
It's
is
another level.
subject.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
So, let me try to bring you to how the fear of death happens when a loved one dies, according to my thinking.
Okay.
According to my
Your thinking.
So when you attack me, know that
You know, Pastor
this
Manu,
is you
just-
coming to
No,
my
allow him.
thinking.
Not to cut you
Allow
short.
him.
No,
Yeah.
not to cut him short. The reason why I had presented the aspect of a loved one dying, I was trying to respond on the aspect of him saying your phone can go off.
No, I don't know why you want to put a disclaimer. I'm not like coming after you.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not trying to defend
I'm just trying
myself.
to say something that would even also support you.
Exactly.
So
You're
get what
actually
I'm
raising the most important point.
No,
on the
okay.
aspect.
Okay, now so listen. If it's
Yeah,
important,
exactly.
listen.
Sure.
Okay, Pastor Emmanuel. All right, let's go.
So now my point is, look now you.
His point is about to die now.
Yeah, his point
you guys.
I resurrect it in the name of Jesus.
Okay, I'm up again.
Uh-huh.
So this is where or how the fear comes. When a loved one dies, you are simply brought to a reality of what you feared.
Yeah, that's powerful.
There is an evidence of what you feared.
It manifests.
It
through
makes
the
you
death.
understand that, this thing can happen. It's real.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But amazingly, it doesn't stop to happen like that. It doesn't matter how many people you lose. It still brings you to that knowledge where you say,
realization.
so it's real. So there is like a bump that happens in you to make you,
You don't
like
get
say,
used.
let me get my things right with God and all that. Now you have seen people seeming to love God, give their life to Christ. I've listened to one of these evangelists that says, a funeral is the best place to do evangelism. We had quite a heated debate
With him.
when he preached at a funeral, and he said to people, those who want to, that's their term, those who want to give their lives to Christ, right?
Give their lives to Christ.
That's them. So quite a number of people came. And surprisingly, even those that had given their lives to Christ, those that I really knew, that these guys, they got their salvation already. They came again.
Goodness.
So I was asking this gentleman to say,
What's happening?
aren't you manipulating people through fear? Is it the fear of
It is
God?
brought, yeah.
Is it the appreciation of the Son of God being given to us? Or this is a fear of death and the place where you go to after dying? What is it?
He's taking advantage of the
Of the
reality
situation,
that
the
is happening,
environment,
situation,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
the death that is taking
Because everybody
place.
can say a coffin and they imagine, because the normal statement is, one day you will be here. One day you'll be here.
So are you also seeing that how much us as pastors are even using death to instigate
Fear.
or fear and try to uproot people
Yeah,
from
yeah.
their salvation?
That's a strong point. That's a very strong
Pastor,
point.
you are raising
That's a strong point.
very powerful presentation there. You are making me to think.
Can I be proud to say I'm liking that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure. You are making me to think how many pastors are not capable enough to give knowledge about how good or how people should envy to go to heaven. But they'll always bring it down to death. And they use death as a weapon to attack that when you die, where are you going? But they don't give people enough knowledge whereby people begin to desire heaven to an extent that they don't fear death. They'll actually celebrate when it comes so that it qualifies them.
They
for the
don't
next.
market heaven.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a strong point, Pastor.
Yeah.
They don't market heaven.
Can I
like
now
it,
feel
yes.
proud?
Yeah. So gentlemen, you're rightfully saying that, are we now basing the issue on ignorance, on what has been made public or what has been put in the public domain, that there are people either who are uneducated? I remember some seasons ago, we dealt with such issues of ignorance and knowledge. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Is it not a two? Is ignorance not now then a two? Because what is bringing... I'm still coming back. I know you've answered me, but I'm not yet quite fully convinced to say, is this the real reason people fear death so much?
Yeah, well,
Maybe
sorry,
to
Pastor
add.
Sheikh.
Okay, it's okay. Come in.
I think you are misdirecting us, Mr. Coordinator. There. Come back to Pastor Sheikh's point, because once we leave that, we may not come back to that.
No, his point...
Because once he wants to respond to your point, we will not come back there.
No.
Bring him back to his point where these pastors are using fear, a kind of robbery.
Exactly.
That's the ignorance, huh? Riding on people's ignorance.
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But is he going to answer you using that, or is going to deflect from his point?
No. Remember, the initial question is mine.
Okay.
That was the
So
initial
are you
question.
complaining that we didn't address
He's
you?
now,
Yes.
he's now using his veto power now.
No, the initial question is mine to say,
Okay, can I ask for
fear.
a favor that you give him an opportunity to deal with that?
With which one? Mine or his?
His. Then we
Is
come
this-
back
is
to
this
yours
part-
since you are
It's still,
the
it's
in
still yours
control.
because I got it from when you were talking.
Oh, I didn't know.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
You know, Pastor, he raised the point of a friend pastor who's taking advantage of a funeral and he's leading people to Christ and he's saying, give your lives to Christ. They say, give your lives to Christ. We don't say that. You know, the greatest fear that those people are having to an extent of standing up on a funeral and saying we are giving our lives is coming from this point. There is no enough knowledge to these people who are actually giving their lives with that kind of
You
manipulation.
see, you're getting there. You're getting answers.
Yeah, I'm getting excited.
There is a manipulation that is coming because of these people also not being knowledgeable enough of what is taking place.
Okay.
So the pastor is thriving on the fear of the people of this event that has happened. Because to them, they know. For me to go to heaven, there has to be some sort of righteousness required from me. There's a confession that I'm supposed to make that He is my Lord and Savior. So they look at the event that is happening there and they say, if I'm to die, and if you check on the message of those pastors, they will ask, if you are to die today, just after
Where are you
this
going?
one, where are you
Where are you
going?
going? Yeah.
So the person will be positioned in a way that, let me go and say, I've given my life. Let's say, lest it happens after this particular
These
event.
3 seconds. Yeah.
Right. So you see now, where the fear is coming from is not on the knowledge of where the person is going or what qualifies the person to be in heaven. What is now being manipulated is only the aspect of receiving salvation. No matter the knowledge I've given you, I will replace the knowledge that I'm supposed to give you by
With
the
fear.
death. And I take the fear of the death and I'll use that one to make you confess. You get the point? So it's no longer a willing decision. It's a dictatorship that has been controlled by the pastor. The pastor has acted as a dictator but hiding behind death.
Okay.
So that person, to show you that person has not repented, after this confession, the person can still go back and do things that will not take.
So, which means the memory of the event
Exactly.
has shed away, has gone.
It's rubbing off.
It's rubbing off.
Exactly.
But if the person was given proper knowledge, a marketing of how heaven looks like.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Why it is
teaching now.
important
And
have
to
Jesus.
be safe. Yeah, exactly.
Not
Yeah,
manipulation using death. A person who repents on that kind of an event, like he's saying, I'm now being reminded, many drunk people, they repent on funeral. But later, same day in the evening, or even after they've finished closing up the grave, you see them being given a crate of alcohol.
And they're
There's
drinking again.
appreciation. So you see now, the moment they know that we've buried this one is gone. There is no teaching of what has happened. There is no teaching of where this spirit or this soul is going. So you have manipulated me for that moment and you have satisfied your ego as the pastor.
Yeah.
But you have not given me enough food to maintain this salvation you've made me to receive.
You know what? I really appreciate. This is mind blowing. The revelations that, because there are a number of problems that then emanate from that. Is that you have a Christian that is not really born again, but has been fed again.
Exactly.
To realizing that they need to make a decision they are compelled to make a decision. But my main worry is I'm going back, I don't know as far as how long, when I was probing both of you on the issue of when you then raise the point to say, death is common and people are dying every day. But people still have this type of fear to say, remember our argument in the last episode to say, is it because of a training? Is it because of... That's where I want to really get you guys back
coming
into...
back to that aspect.
Yes. You know why? Because I'm saying, we've seen people being terrorized. Big people in terms of social status, sort of spiritual status, they lose a loved one. You can't explain to them this aspect.
I think that one I will leave it to Pastor Emmanuel to come in, and then I'll come in after him.
All right.
If it's okay.
But do you still remember when I was probing you on the issue
you
of
actually
the
started in
fear?
the last episode.
I think
and
I did,
you
yeah.
followed through even in this episode.
Yes, because this is the major issue, that if we don't really address that, what then causes that? It's really an issue of concern with me now. to say, families are torn apart because they've lost one person. I was saying to one person that with the number of people, I know I'm going to get blasted for what I'm about to say now, but would you allow me to say it?
Even if you say no, you
In
still
life,
say
you
it.
can never make everyone laugh.
I said to one person, why should you have someone who has passed on your status when there are still people that are living?
Yeah, no wonder why you said people are going to blast.
It is something that is to say that why are you keeping a memory of someone who has passed on when there are so many other people? There's so many. He spoke of sentimental value and things like that. I have no worries. Maybe I've done it before. But what then causes so many of us to keep trapped in that particular place? That's
I like
really.
this person.
That's. But I didn't want us to answer this one. I'm just digressing so that I come back to show you the
it's
magnitude.
adding up to the one thing that you're asking about.
Yes. So the magnitude of the fear that people have is that there is something so mystical about it. Should it be there? Maybe we are the ones exaggerating to say maybe people are all right as they are. In different cultures, I remember you spoke about Western cultures where people don't get buried on the same day. They celebrate. In another culture, I saw them having a party and celebrating someone. And in other cultures, you find people saying, I'm going to go after this person, bury me with them as well. I'm going to fall into the grave. All those drama that come with death. So what we are saying now is that who is more informed about this? We really want to try and draw like a line, if there is one to be drawn, to say how then can we handle this? Because as pastors, you've attended funerals before. You've attended funerals before, and there are things that we meet up
Not
with.
finishing.
Oh goodness.
Well, I see. He's
He's ready to come in. So let me.
He's saying a lot of things, so I will not know now which one to really address.
But I'm just trying to bring in. I was just trying to substantiate this issue of the bigger fear. That there is this fear. Pastor Emmanuel, come in.
You destroyed me with big words there.
Oh goodness.
substantial.
Oh goodness.
All right, so, oh wow, Pastor, I wouldn't lie to you. This is a very powerful analysis that is going through your mind. But maybe to just play around it and bring you back to one of the illustrations that you gave. Why people would put images of people who are dead on their profile pictures, maybe on the walls.
On the walls as well, yeah.
Will you forgive me if I come from this angle?
Not at all.
So, having a picture, I don't do it myself, and not for any reason. Maybe because I'm just passive of quite a number of things. But having a picture of the loved one that you lost through death on your profile picture, on your walls at home, does not connote fear, number one. And not having a picture of the same person may not also connote fear.
Or even bravery.
Or what he said. Out of fear, people may not put profile pictures of their loved ones who are dead.
Yeah, sure.
It could be more of fear, or more of trying to do away with those memories. By saying, let me remove everything about them.
They will even use the scripture.
They will even use, they will quote scriptures.
Have
But
nothing to do
look,
with
my
that.
point is, now coming to your issue, because you also mix up, that's why you're saying, stop
put in
now.
some-
Stop
Oh,
now, because you are bringing in quite a number of things.
All right.
Because now I have
He
to
was
connect this
preparing a
plus
lasagna.
that.
But you know what I'm going to have to do now?
As you are preparing a lasagna.
Lasagna
But
is
you
the
know what
best.
I'll have to do now? Unfortunately, again, our time is gone dead again.
No,
Pastor
you can't
Emmanuel.
do that. You can't do that. No.
Thank you so
No.
much. But I know what I'm going to have to do now. I'm going to prepare the next episode specifically for Pastor Emmanuel to answer this. So the whole episode, viewers,
Will
please.
you give him your lasagna question?
Yes, I'll have to give him the same question, save it for him as hot as it is. But thank you so much for your points. Thank you, Pastor Emmanuel. I know I've stopped you when it mattered the most. But as we always do here, we cut it when it matters most so that viewers always want to hear the wisdom that God has given you. But thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, Pastor Sheki.
Welcome, Pastor. We appreciate
Thank you.
it.
So
We
viewers at
appreciate
home,
God.
please keep those comments coming. We do value them. This is Life in the Word. Stay tuned to Christ TV.